this video, I'm gonna demonstrate several fabric type, which is satin kimono, stripes fabric, and also leather fabric. The first one I'm working on is the kimono satin, and I'm using E51 for this kimono, which is the same as the skin's colors, because I cannot find a color that is quite similar with the robe. Make sure that you made the detail of the kimono before you start to color them, because there's so much small details inside it, and if you haven't made the details, it will be hard for you later on to fill in. And because the detail is quite small, maybe you can't really see or draw exactly like what it is. However, we can still try to make it look as similar as possible. And on the reference, we can see there is a little bit of gray color shadow on the robe, so make sure that you add a very light gray like a C1 or a W1 for the shading details, and just try to check on the reference so you know where to add the gray color. And it's almost everywhere, but the tension is quite different, so maybe you add more on some part and then maybe less on some part as well. So for this gray shadow, sometimes I have to let it dry and then maybe see if it's already enough or not, and then coming back and checking if I need to add more color. Also, if you pay attention closely on the detail of the robe, there is a small like floral pattern with the same color of the robe but has a different texture, so you can tell that it's everywhere, and you just need to add more color on that to make sure that the floral pattern is visible. So before finishing the detail of the kimono, I start to color the hand fan that she held, and then coloring the bow above her waist, and after that maybe I can start to color the socks that she's wearing. And based on the picture, it's supposed to be a very light pink, but since I don't have one, so I'm using the color that is available now, which is the soft purple. And then there is also a floral detail on the socks, so you have to add like a small pink floral detail after the base color dry. And coming back to the kimono, I try to fill in the small details of the pattern. So there is a pink color, a green color, orangey, and also gray. So I'm just adding the color that is quite similar with the picture. And then also there is a purple floral detail on her head. And the green is quite soft, so make sure that you don't add too much strong green, because it will ruin the whole overall look. And also there is a small orangey detail, and make sure that it's not too striking, so it's still blended with the rest of the coloring. So there's also a small detail pattern on the kimono. It's like a goose wings detail on some part of the kimono, so make sure that you use a stronger gray color, but not too striking, not too bold. So I'm using C5 color here, and I think it still blend well with the rest of the color on the kimono. So in my opinion, to color this kimono, it's not that hard, but it's just there are so many details that you have to fill in, so it might take quite some time to finish the robe, because sometimes you have to let it dry before coloring the whole things, and you just have to go through to all the details one by one, and then make sure that you do it lightly because it's pretty small, and if you press too much, then you will ruin the color and you're gonna mix up all the color. And then after a while, coming back to the light gray, the C1, to fill in another detail, because I think there's not enough shadow. And you can always mix up the gray color. So for example, here I added like W soft color, like W3, if you think the C1 is still not enough. So several gray could be also useful in this kimono. So I'm just gonna speed up the process of coloring the gray shading of the kimono. And finally, the last color on the kimono that I haven't added is the orange color. And after that, we can moving on to the inside clothes of her kimono, which is the leather bustier, and also there is a stripe layer underneath the bustier and also a stripe trousers. And before coloring the detail part, we have to add the base black color first. So make sure that you do it flatly and not leaving a white part of the paper. So sometimes you have to repeat this black color to cover the whole thing. And as always, to make it easier, sometimes I always draw the outline first and then coloring the inside part afterwards, because that way I think I can always be extra neat by doing the outline first. And the next to color is the shoes. It has the same black color, but make sure before you add the black color you already finished the socks and the other detail part of the shoes, because it has a lighter color. So always go for the lighter color first and then the black afterwards. And while we let it dry of the black colors, we are adding the hair details. And then I'm adding, as usual, 2 colors for the hair to make so the hair won't look too flat. And now after the black copy dry, I'm adding a white pencil to define the clothes, and then make sure that there is a folded part below the bustier. So make sure you're adding a folded part and make sure the stripes is following the angle of the folded part, so the stripe it's not gonna be completely flat on that part. And to get the detail of the stripes correctly, you have to make sure that your pencil is striped enough, because if it's too thick then it will be hard for you to draw a very small neat lines details. And the last one, don't forget to add the white gel pen detail on the shiny part of the bustier, and also a little detail on the hand fan that she's wearing.